Hello everyone, welcome back to Talk Fluent. We're so happy you're spending part of your day with us. If you're learning English and want to sound more natural, more confident, and more like a native speaker, you're in the right place.
Hey everyone, it's great to have you here again. I hope you're ready because today's episode is packed with practical tips that you can start using immediately. These aren't difficult grammar rules from a textbook. These are the little mistakes that many English learners make every single day.
You know, I was talking to a friend who speaks excellent English, but she kept saying things like, I very like coffee, and he explained me the problem. People understood her, but those tiny mistakes made her sound less fluent than she actually was.
That's such a common situation. Many learners know thousands of words, but a few everyday grammar mistakes stop them from sounding smooth and natural. The good news is that these mistakes are easy to fix once you notice them.
By the end of today's episode, you'll know how to avoid several common grammar errors, choose more natural sentence patterns, and express yourself with confidence in conversations, at work, at school, and online.
We also want this episode to be interactive. Tell us in the comments, what's one English mistake you always catch yourself making? Is it prepositions, verb forms, word order? We'd love to read your answers and help you improve.
And if you're enjoying learning with us, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Talk Fluent. We upload lessons designed to help you speak real English, not just memorize rules.
All right, let's jump right into our first lesson and start making your English sound more fluent from today.
The first thing we need to understand is that English has a natural sentence pattern. In most everyday situations, the basic structure is simple: subject plus verb plus object.
Exactly, look at these examples. I drink coffee, she loves music, they watch movies, we play soccer, my brother bought a new laptop. Each sentence follows the same simple pattern.
Sometimes learners try to translate directly from their own language, and that's where problems begin. English likes a clear order. When you follow subject plus verb plus object, your sentences immediately sound cleaner.
Let's make a few examples longer. I drink coffee every morning, she loves Italian food, they watch movies on weekends, we play soccer after work. My brother bought a new laptop last month. Notice that extra information usually comes after the main idea.
I remember when I first started learning another language, I kept putting time expressions in strange places because I translated word for word. That's a habit many learners have.
That's why thinking in English instead of translating is so important. Instead of building the sentence in your first language, try creating it directly in English.
Here's another common issue. Many learners add unnecessary words. For example, I very like pizza. That sounds unnatural. The correct sentence is, I really like pizza, or simply, I like pizza very much.
Here's another one. Incorrect. She every day goes to work. Correct. She goes to work every day. The position of the adverb matters.
English word order is one of the easiest ways to sound more fluent. Native speakers may not know the grammar rule by name, but they naturally follow it.
Let's practice together. Say these sentences out loud. I eat breakfast at 7. My parents live in Chicago. We usually watch TV after dinner. The teacher explained the lesson clearly. My friend called me yesterday. Speaking aloud helps train your brain to recognize natural patterns.
Now let me ask you something. Can you make a sentence with the word usually? Try it right now. Maybe you said, I usually wake up early, or I usually drink tea at work. Those sound great.
Now can you make a sentence with always? Pause for a second and think. You could say, I always lock my door. She always arrives on time. They always help their neighbors.
Nice job. Small exercises like these build confidence much faster than memorizing long grammar lists. Another thing learners often forget is the negative form. The basic formula becomes subject plus do or does plus not plus base verb. For example, I don't eat meat. She doesn't drive. We don't watch much television. He doesn't like spicy food.
Notice something important. After doesn't, we use the base form of the verb, not she doesn't likes coffee. Instead, she doesn't like coffee. That little change makes a big difference.
Questions follow a similar pattern. Do you like coffee? Does she work here? Do they speak English? Does your brother play basketball? Learning these simple structures makes everyday conversations much easier.
Here's a fun challenge. Can you say one positive sentence, one negative sentence, and one question using the verb work? For example, I work downtown. I don't work on Sundays. Do you work from home? Try creating your own versions.
Excellent. Remember that fluency isn't about using complicated grammar. It's about using simple grammar correctly and naturally over and over again.
Before we move on, here's another question for you. Write one sentence in the comments using usually or always. Reading and writing your own examples is one of the fastest ways to improve.
And don't worry if you make mistakes. Every fluent speaker made thousands of mistakes while learning. Progress comes from practice, not perfection.
So let's review. English sentences usually follow subject plus verb plus object. Adverbs like usually have natural positions. Negative sentences use don't or doesn't with the base verb, and questions start with do or does. Master these patterns and your English will already sound smoother and more natural.
Welcome back. Now that we've covered the basic sentence structure, let's build on it by talking about something that makes a huge difference in everyday English: choosing natural expressions instead of direct translations.
That's right, you can have perfect grammar, but if you use unusual phrases, native speakers may understand you while still noticing that something sounds a little off.
Think about this sentence: I made my homework. Grammatically, it follows a pattern, but native speakers don't say that.
Exactly, the natural expression is I did my homework. English has word combinations called collocations. Certain verbs naturally go with certain nouns.
Here are a few examples. You make a decision. You make a mistake. You make money, but you do your homework, you do the dishes, you do exercise. Learning these combinations will make your English sound much more fluent.
Let's compare another pair. Instead of saying I took a party, you say I went to a party. Instead of saying I did a photo, you say I took a photo. Small changes like these make a big difference.
I remember hearing someone say, I'm going to open the TV. It made me smile because the natural phrase is turn on the TV. English often uses specific verbs that don't translate directly from other languages.
Here's a quick dialogue. I walk into your house and ask, can you turn on the lights? You answer, sure, I'll turn them on. That sounds completely natural.
Compare that with, can you open the lights? People might understand, but it sounds unusual. That's why learning expressions instead of individual words is so valuable.
Let's look at another example. Formal English, I would like to inquire about the schedule. Informal English, I want to check the schedule, or even I'm just checking the schedule. Native speakers often choose the simpler version in daily conversations.
That's an important point. Simpler English often sounds more natural than complicated English. Many learners believe longer words make them sound smarter, but clear and simple communication is usually the better choice.
Here's another comparison. Formal, could you please assist me? Casual, can you help me? Both are correct, but the second one is what you'll hear every day among friends and coworkers.
Let's practice together. Imagine you're meeting a friend for lunch. Would you say, I desire to consume food? Or, I'm hungry, let's grab something to eat? The second one sounds natural and conversational.
Exactly, now imagine you're texting someone instead of, I am unable to attend today's gathering. Most people simply write, I can't make it today. Short, friendly, and natural.
Here are 3 tips that can instantly improve your English. First, learn phrases instead of single words. Instead of memorizing the word decision, learn make a decision. Second, listen carefully to native conversations. Pay attention to which words appear together again and again. Third, repeat those expressions out loud until they become automatic.
Repetition is powerful. When you hear take a shower, catch a bus, or have breakfast hundreds of times, your brain starts using them naturally without translating.
Let's do a quick activity. I'll say a noun and you think of the natural verb. Homework, hopefully you said do. Mistake, the answer is make. Photo, the answer is take. Breakfast, the answer is have.
Great job, now try making your own sentence with one of those expressions. Say it out loud first, then write it in the comments below. Sharing your own examples helps you remember them longer.
One more important tip. Don't panic if you hear native speakers using shortcuts. Instead of saying going to, many people say gonna in casual speech. Instead of want to, you'll often hear wanna. You don't have to use these yourself right away, but understanding them will make listening much easier.
That's a great point. Learning real spoken English doesn't mean forgetting grammar. It means knowing when people naturally shorten words in conversation.
So today's lesson isn't only about grammar. It's also about choosing the expressions that real people use every day. That's one of the biggest secrets to sounding fluent.
Let's review. Learn common collocations, prefer simple natural phrases. Notice the difference between formal and casual English, and practice complete expressions instead of isolated vocabulary words.
Now let's move to another area where learners can instantly sound more natural, using polite everyday English. Many students learn direct translations that are grammatically correct but sound too strong or too blunt.
That's especially true when asking for something. Instead of saying, give me your pen, native speakers often soften the request. They might say, can I borrow your pen? Or could I use your pen for a second?
Those small changes make you sound friendlier. English speakers often value polite wording, especially with strangers, coworkers, or customers.
Here's another example. Direct, open the window. Polite, could you open the window? Or would you mind opening the window? The meaning stays the same, but the tone changes completely.
Tone is just as important as grammar. Even a perfect sentence can sound rude if it's too direct in the wrong situation.
Imagine you're at a coffee shop. You could say coffee, people would probably understand. But it's much more natural to say, can I get a coffee please? Or I'd like a coffee please.
Let's practice another conversation. I'm the customer. Excuse me, could I have the menu please?
Of course, here you go.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Notice how polite words like please and thank you make the conversation feel warm and natural.
Here's another everyday situation. You're running late. Instead of texting, I will arrive late. Many people simply text, I'm running a little late, or I'll be there in about 10 minutes. Those expressions sound much more conversational.
Here's another useful tip. Native speakers often soften opinions. Instead of saying you're wrong, they might say I don't think that's right, or I'm not sure I agree. It sounds more respectful.
First, think about your relationship with the other person. Second, choose words that match the situation. Third, add polite expressions like please, thanks, or would you mind when appropriate. These little habits create a great impression.
Let's do a mini practice. Which sounds better, close the door, or could you close the door please? The second one is usually the better choice.
How about this one, move your bag, or would you mind moving your bag? Again, the second version sounds friendlier.
Try saying these sentences out loud. Can I ask you something? Would you mind helping me? Could you repeat that? I'd appreciate your advice. Practice them until they feel natural.
Now it's your turn. Write one polite request in the comments. Maybe you're asking for directions, ordering food, or requesting help at work. We'll be excited to read your examples.
Remember, fluency isn't only about grammar. It's also about sounding comfortable, respectful, and natural in real conversations. When you combine correct structure, natural expressions, and polite language, people notice the difference immediately.
Keep practicing every day, even if it's just 5 minutes. Small improvements add up, and before long you'll hear yourself speaking with much more confidence.
Let's review this section. Use polite requests instead of direct commands, pay attention to tone, choose natural everyday expressions, and practice speaking aloud until these patterns become automatic. Those habits will help your English sound fluent in almost any situation.
Welcome to one of my favorite parts of today's lesson. We're going to talk about mistakes that almost every English learner makes. And guess what? We've made language mistakes too, so don't feel bad if you recognize yourself in these examples.
Absolutely, making mistakes is part of learning. The important thing is understanding why something sounds unnatural so you can avoid repeating it.
Our first common mistake is using the wrong verb after doesn't. Many learners say, he doesn't likes coffee. The correct sentence is, he doesn't like coffee.
Here's the simple rule. After do, does, and did, always use the base form of the verb. Incorrect, she doesn't works here. Correct, she doesn't work here. Incorrect, did you went home. Correct, did you go home. Practice those patterns until they become automatic.
The reason is simple. The helping verb already shows the tense, so the main verb stays in its basic form. Think of the helping verb as doing all the grammar work for the sentence.
Here's your practice. Say these correctly. He doesn't play soccer. They don't watch TV much. Did she call you? Excellent, you're already sounding more natural.
The second mistake is translating directly from your first language. For example, I have 25 years. Native speakers say, I'm 25 years old. English uses the verb to be when talking about age.
Another example is, I have hunger. The natural sentence is, I'm hungry, or I have a lot of hunger becomes, I'm very hungry. Learning natural expressions is better than translating word for word.
I once heard someone say, I'm boring. That actually means you make other people feel bored. If you want to talk about yourself, you should say, I'm bored. One little ending changes the whole meaning.
Let's compare I'm bored, I'm boring. The first describes your feeling. The second describes your personality or effect on others. That's a funny mistake that creates awkward conversations.
Our third mistake is forgetting articles. Learners often say, I bought new phone. The natural sentence is, I bought a new phone, or I bought the new phone we talked about. Articles may seem small, but they make your English sound complete.
Here's another one. Incorrect, she is teacher. Correct, she is a teacher. Incorrect, I saw a movie yesterday. Correct, I saw a movie yesterday. Tiny words make a huge difference.
Our fourth mistake is overusing very formal language. Some learners say, I shall depart now. That's correct, but in everyday American English, people usually say, I'm gonna head out, or I've got to go. It sounds much more relaxed.
Here are some better alternatives. Instead of, I request your assistance, say, can you help me? Instead of, I apologize for my tardiness, say, sorry I'm late. Simple language often sounds more fluent.
Imagine walking into a pizza shop and saying, I desire the acquisition of one circular cheese product. Everyone would probably laugh because you could simply say, I'd like a cheese pizza, please. Keeping things simple is one of the biggest secrets to sounding natural.
Let's practice together. Correct this sentence. He doesn't knows my name. You should say, he doesn't know my name. Now try this one. I'm boring because there's nothing to do. Better, I'm bored because there's nothing to do. Great job.
If you've made any of these mistakes before, don't worry. Every learner has. The key is noticing them and replacing them with the natural version.
Exactly. Every correction brings you one step closer to fluent, confident English. Keep practicing, keep listening, and don't be afraid to make mistakes along the way.
Now it's time for a fun activity called Choose the Correct Sentence. Say your answer out loud before we explain it. Situation 1. Option A, she doesn't likes coffee. Option B, she doesn't like coffee.
The correct answer is option B. Remember, after doesn't, use the base verb. Situation 2. Option A, I did my homework. Option B, I made my homework. Option A is the natural choice.
Situation 3. Option A, can I get a glass of water, please? Option B, give me water, which sounds more natural.
Option A is the better answer in most situations because it's polite and friendly. Situation 4. Option A, I'm bored. Option B, I'm boring. If you're talking about your own feeling, choose option A.
Situation 5. Option A, I usually go to the gym after work. Option B, I go usually to the gym after work. Which one sounds natural?
Option A follows normal English word order and is the sentence native speakers would usually say.
Now let's make it a little harder. How would you politely ask someone to repeat something? Maybe you'd say, could you say that again, please? Or could you repeat that? Try saying both out loud.
Here's another challenge. Create a sentence using make a mistake. Now create one using do your homework. Notice how different verbs naturally match different nouns.
We'd love to see your creativity. Write your own sentence in the comments using one of today's expressions. Then read other comments and see how many natural examples you can find.
And remember, real conversations aren't about perfect grammar every second. They're about communicating clearly, naturally, and confidently. That's what fluency is really about.
What an amazing lesson. Today we've covered practical grammar patterns, natural everyday expressions, common collocations, polite requests, and some of the mistakes that stop learners from sounding fluent.
Let's quickly review the 3 big ideas from today's episode. First, build strong sentences using natural English word order. Second, learn common expressions and collocations instead of translating word by word. Third, choose polite, conversational language that native speakers actually use every day.
If you practice just a few of these tips every day, you'll notice your confidence growing faster than you expect. Don't wait until your English feels perfect before speaking. Speak now, learn from your mistakes, and improve with every conversation.
Here's one final question for you. Which tip from today's lesson will you start using today? Tell us in the comments because your answer might inspire another learner around the world.
If this episode helped you, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with a friend who's learning English, leave a comment, and subscribe to Talk Fluent for more practical lessons that help you sound like a confident speaker in real life.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep believing in yourself. Every sentence you say brings you one step closer to fluency. Stay motivated, stay curious, and most importantly, enjoy the journey of learning English. See you next time.